there, and thank you so much for joining us for this on-demand webinar on our purpose-built offsite cloud recovery solution, Cloud Services. My name is Janine Edwards, and I'm here with Bill Hansen, our dedicated product manager on this awesome solution. Bill, thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time.
Hey, no problem. Glad to be here and have a discussion here about cloud services and disaster recovery.
Yeah, so here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to make sure and spend a little bit of time talking about what's happening in the world of disaster recovery, business continuity, and why an offsite cloud option is an important piece of the puzzle. And first and foremost, let's talk a little bit about StorageCraft. Maybe you're familiar with us, maybe you aren't, maybe you've been familiar with us in the past, and let's sort of level set and share with you where we've been, where we're going, right? So we've been bringing partners and the partner community data protection solutions since 2003, so for almost 20 years. And we're considered a pioneer, if you will, in data protection innovation. Some of folks consider us king of the protection of the physical machine. We were really first out of the gate back in the day with snapshotting technology, and we're known for our unparalleled recovery feature, Virtual Boot. And the biggest piece of this puzzle is that we're committed to making sure that we deliver always the most reliable and most comprehensive data protection platform that we possibly can, and we want to do so 100% through our channel partners. So about 18 months ago, we received a significant investment in technology, and since then we've been heads down really innovating to make sure that we continue to deliver on our commitment to bringing you solutions that allow you to solve business challenges and allow you to do so profitably, right? So after all, at the end of the day, when you're solving customer challenges for your organizations, it's an opportunity creation for you. So we're going to share some of the fruits of that labor today, specifically around, again, our total business continuity disaster recovery solution, Cloud Services, right? So first and foremost, though, when we take a look at our innovation mission, our journey was really to create a true platform, right? That spans not only the entire category, but also spans the type of partners that make up the partner community and the type of customers you're serving. So this is sort of an illustration of that platform. And you can see, if you take a look at the lower axis, right, you have the partner primary business model, and up on the vertical axis is the kind of customers you're servicing. And then where our solutions sort of, they're swim lanes that they play in. And we are really filling all of the puzzle pieces that allow you to have a right fit solution for no matter what kind of customer you're serving today or wish to serving in the future. It's really all about standardization. We know standardization is an important piece of the operational maturity stack, if you will, and the ability to really standardize on one technology makes that operational maturity really become easier for you, right? Be easier to master and optimize. An interesting stat I love to talk about is 3 out of 4 solution providers today in the business continuity category are working with 2+ vendors, because standardization, whether it be from perception across the competitive set that there are missing pieces of the puzzle, is really tough to do in this category. We want to change that. We want to change the perception and really bring you solutions that allow you to really optimize standardization. And so we're going to talk again today about Cloud Services. And let's start by thinking about the quote business continuity shortlist, right? So it's really about components prevention, remediation, and restoration. And for the longest time, right, it was about starting with prevention, knowing about prevention, making sure you could trust your technology partner, and having a little bit of anxiety around whether that protection piece was going to work, right? And so now that's sort of become an evergreen, yes, obviously, right, of course, but now we're really moving, especially with what's been going on in the current environment, into the recovery era, right? So it's not really about if, it's about when data is going to be compromised, and your customers want to know, hey man, hey, or hey Mrs., how quickly are you going to get me back up and running and productive and in a state prior to the compromise, right? So I'm going to turn it over to Bill. Bill's going to talk about some of the things that above and beyond just compromising a local backup around disaster recovery, right? So take it away, Bill.
Yeah, and thanks, Janine. I think you hit it right on the head with we're in an age of remediation and recovery now, where that initial backup and protection, doing that preemptive is a green field. It's thing that you just do, but it's not about if, but when. And you got to be able to restore and recover. And here, just showing a few different numbers, you can get numbers lots of different places these days, some statistics. For what causes disaster recovery, downtime, data corruption. And it's interesting as you look at this, sometimes what you think of course, is the big, we'll call it natural disaster type things like hurricanes and fires and floods. Those are what are causing all of these issues. But as you can see, it really is mixed. There's lots of different reasons. Just even you see in the middle here, unexpected updates, just those things that happen when no one thought it would. And you can see the dominant thing in all of these is really just operational errors. Humans make mistakes. Ransomware and different things like that are out there, and those things that are man-made tend to cause the most issues for our data. But you can see it does happen, lots of different causes, and that's why it's so important to have a plan and be able to look at it and provide a solution to your partners to protect their data.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. I think we default all the time to think the natural disaster, right, is the only thing that's going to create a site-wide interruption, and that's just not the case, right? And if we double click into the ransomware piece, especially right now, with this different environment, these nefarious people are getting even more savvy, right? With the sort of the increase of the remote workforce. And more scary stats. We love scary stats here. And Bill's right, you can get stats everywhere, but I do like these. I think they're interesting. When we think about cybercrime and ransomware, as a category, cybercrime is going to cost the globe over $6 trillion annually by 2021. And it's probably even a little bit exponentially, a little bit higher as a prediction now because of what's going on. And then global ransomware costs are expected to reach $20 billion by that same year. $20 billion, again, that's global. That's more right there. That number is more than 57 times larger than it was in 2015. How about that, right? And businesses are attacked by ransomware every 14 seconds. And that's going to go down to happening every 11 seconds by 2021. That's basically saying your customers, especially on the small and mid-size, are going to be attacked by ransomware every 11 seconds in 2021, okay? And the average number of days a ransomware incident lasts now is up to 16.2 days, which is up from just Q3 of last year from 12.1. So again, it's really all about when you're thinking about your customers, how confident are you that you can get them up and running prior to any compromise, right? And so talk a little bit about this stat. This is also a good stat. This is specific to StorageCraft, right, Bill?
That's right. I mean, as you've explained, ransomware is really on the rise, and cybercrime in general, and people unfortunately are really taking advantage of the times we have now to get in and corrupt people's data and try to do the things they do. And here at StorageCraft, obviously, we've been around a long time, as you explained, doing backup and recovery for some time. And here we just wanted to share things that we see. This is kind of the insider information that we help people every day do recoveries and make sure they can get their data. And as you can see here, we've had over a 600% increase from 2018 to 2019 in our restorations for ransomware. It used to be that you have one machine, two machines type things be affected by one thing or another, but it has just exploded where ransomware is now affecting entire sites, and a lot more recovery to deal with what you just explained. It truly is happening way too often, and so it's pretty critical. And just sharing again what we see, a real rise in the need to recover from these type of attacks.
It's I think it's just going to continue to be something that organizations of all sizes need to deal with, right? So
have a plan for it. Yep.
And this is an interesting stat. We did a survey, right? A little bit of a study with some of our customers. This is an end customer survey, correct, Bill?
That's right. We went to a bunch of end customers across different verticals, healthcare, education, and different things, and talked to them about disaster recovery and their plans.
And look at this number. This is pretty scary. Only 15% of them indicated that they could recover from a severe data loss within the hour, right? So it's just sort of proving that those stats, whether it's they're not confident in their provider, or they're not confident in their own subject matter expertise, or whether they have a business continuity plan in place, that's a pretty scary number, right? So this 5%, 5 to 7% number, right, at almost 12%. So I'm sorry, this 12% number at almost between 3 days and a week. I mean, imagine if you're a small business, right? What happens to you at that point, right? It's catastrophic.
Yeah, pretty scary at that point.
So that, sort of leads us into this discussion about this idea of providing complete disaster recovery solution, right? By adding a layer, an additional redundant layer of cloud-based protection, right? And so what you're doing is you're saying, just like Bill talked about, whether the disaster is human nature or mother nature, or it's ransomware or malware, that you're able to confidently, for your customers, protect data when that disaster compromises the site-wide backups, right? So, and you're saying confidently when you're creating your managed offering that I can improve the resilience of entire systems in the case of disruption or compromise. And I'm able to say to my customers, I have a total backup for you in the event of a complete system failure. And what putting it up in the cloud does, right, and having the cloud, the right fit cloud, you're able to say, I can significantly reduce downtime and return you, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, to productivity as quickly as possible and in a state prior to the compromise. And what we also are very surprised about, not that surprised, but again, to keep in mind is that there's a lot of customers on the small to mid-size that don't have a disaster recovery plan or a business continuity plan in place. So you're bringing confidence to those customers when they give you, right, the ability to control their infrastructure, manage their infrastructure, who lack that expertise, that you can configure and test an effective disaster recovery plan. So it's really important to think about, if you do have a disaster recovery piece of the puzzle in your offering and what you're bringing customers, is it the right fit, right? What does that look like, and how are you also making money on it, right? So there's a couple different ways to look at the cloud offering, the cloud storage offering, right? Or how you choose to build that into what you're providing for customers. And none of these answers are wrong, right? But we just want to kind of take you through our thoughts around what you need to think about when you're making those decisions, right? Whether it's a public cloud, build your own data center. A lot of folks made the investment in a data center a while ago and want to figure out if they need to end of life it or use it differently, right, Bill? Or if you're investing in a private cloud.
That's right.
And your customers don't understand why they need a different type of cloud, right, to facilitate their recovery efforts. And when we think about clouds, we want to make sure we understand that they're not all created equal, and they're not always the right fit as a data backup solution. That doesn't mean they're the right fit, not the right fit for other things, but essentially be mindful that when you are choosing your cloud solution, that you're not just creating a copy of the data, right? Because that's not really a true recovery solution. You want to make sure that you can easily, fully, and cost effectively recover a customer's data quickly. And that requires the use of a purpose-built disaster recovery cloud, right? And public clouds can sometimes work kind of like a data parking lot. So it's really easy to put data in them, right? And maybe pull it back down. But once you kind of need to get into what you do with that data or get access to specific parts, it gets a little bit it gets a little bit complex. And again, just think about if the use of the public cloud is the right fit for a disaster recovery solution, right? And you also want to make sure when you're looking at your customers that you're avoiding cloud sprawl, which is simply like unconnected data silos where there's different applications, different data, management tools are running in the public cloud or partially on-site or in a hybrid cloud. Just be mindful, this mixed configurations can be really difficult to manage, especially with not a central managed point, right? What is the cost structure, right? Is there a fee for the data being taken in and then the data upon exiting? And does that make sense? And it's just a lot of important things to take a look at. One of the biggest pieces of the puzzle, though, is the ease of management, especially as the outsourced provider, and to do so within a consolidated pane of glass so they can see all the data of that particular customer that's experiencing the challenges or the compromise, and figure out how you can prioritize, pull triggers, take a look at what you need to do. And for that, we really think as an outsourced solution provider who's creating a total disaster recovery plan, we believe in sort of a purpose-built disaster recovery cloud that allows you to easily, fully, and cost-effectively recover your customers' data and bring them confidence and trust while you're doing so. And that leads us into what cloud services is. So take it away, Bill.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Janine. I think you did a really good job there explaining the different types of cloud offerings that are out there, and they're not all the same. And what we've done is, just as you said, we really created a purpose-built disaster recovery cloud solution. And it's designed specifically for that and business continuity. So that way, you know, you're protecting and doing those things on premise and off premises too. So you have that continuity of your data wherever it may be. And it's really designed, just like you said, specifically for this. It's not designed to do 500 other things. And so it's able to do it very efficiently and effectively. Now there's some details about this cloud we want to tell you about. You know, our cloud services is very simple, and we've tried to make it very flexible because not everyone's needs are the same. Not all data is created equal or should be protected equally. So we've given you a few options that I'll get into. We've given you a single pane of glass and a web-based console, so you can log in from anywhere in the world and get access to your data in our cloud to, you know, manipulate or recover or change settings, do all those things you can do very easily. We really have given you total control, and that way you're not dependent upon us either to go flip some switches or enable a recovery or something like that. So we've made that very simple, again, with a nice interface that you can log into from anywhere. And like it says right here, self-service, it's up to you. You can spin up a VM, a virtualized machine in our cloud, or you can just get a recovery, and it's all, again, at your fingertips to do whenever you'd like. If it's middle of the night and you need to get something, you can go right ahead and do it. No need to call our support or anything like that. And you know, the data centers we use, it's not just like a set of servers sitting in a back room somewhere. We really have set up our cloud services in tier 3, tier 4 data centers around the world. And they have the, you know, military grade encryption, all the security, you know, the video cameras, the multiple entry paths. A lot of things are done to make sure that it's very secure, as well as have all the redundancies, that 5 nines of uptime, where it's we've got multiple bandwidth providers, different power supplies, all those things to make sure that data in our data centers and things that you're providing to us for your customers, that their data is really going to be protected. And then on top of that, of course, we have a 24/7, 365 days a year monitoring of a network operations center. So we have people around the clock who are watching and making sure everything's working as it should. So that way we can stay right on top of it and give you the best confidence in the solution that we provide. Now, one of the other things I want to talk about is we have what's called a virtual machine policy. One of the services we offer is that true full failover. This is a one-click orchestration of a virtualization, which means you can pre-program all the computers, if you will, that you put into our cloud to boot in a certain order. If you have dependencies and all that, you can have it all set up. Really simplify your life. If something was to go wrong and you need to have a disaster recovery and run it in our cloud, at the click of a button, it's all going to run for you. It's really quite slick, a great feature that really differentiates us from some others out there. So you can have that ease of use when disaster strikes. We found that, of course, when those things do strike, that's not a moment of calm. That's usually things are not good and you're got a lot of things to worry about. So having this simple policy where you click of the button, you can get things going has been very good and very useful. Now let me explain a little bit the different service levels we have. As I said, we have flexible options. You know, it's not just one single solution for everything, but we have 3 levels. There's Cloud Basic, Cloud Plus, and Cloud Premium. The first basic is, as it sounds, it's pretty simple. It's offsite storage of your backups. A full image of your machine is replicated to our cloud. It's encrypted, by the way, in transmission and at rest. So that data is encrypted, comes to us, and we store it for you. And if you need to recover it, you can do that. You can recover and download that image back, or we'll provide that data on a hard drive and ship it to you if that's what's needed. Any way to help you provide that RPO or RTO that your customers are asking for. Now Cloud Plus, the next level, just simply adds a little bit more to that basic service, which is fundamentally file and folder recovery, that immediate ability to mount an image in our cloud and be able to do a file explorer and grab those files or something you might need very quickly when you don't need an entire computer or machine image. And then our Cloud Premium, which is the full disaster recovery in our cloud that enables you to do those things I just talked about, plus the virtualization of machines. So those images of servers and things that you've protected for your customers is in our cloud. And now at the flip of a switch, they can go virtualize those and have network settings and IP addresses, public, private, those things they need to truly run their entire network in our cloud and do it very quickly. So in the event of a disaster or even a ransomware event that takes things down, you can get back up and running very quickly. And that's the full disaster recovery at the premium level. And that's fundamentally what our disaster recovery is. It's purpose-built, it's designed to do those things I just talked about and make it very easy and give you the confidence to provide that solution to your customers. Now, I thought it'd be useful here to share a couple success stories we've had. It seems like when you look around, you're like, well, does it really work? And I want to tell you, yes, it does, but got a few examples here just to share what goes on and how that people were able to recover. So just going through this one, the first one was we had a partner who was using an RMM tool that was deployed across all of their client sites, and it got infiltrated by ransomware, which means that that ransomware got in and actually went to all of the client sites and damaged and ransomwared, if you can call it that, all of their data. And it also damaged all the local backups that they had. And because of that, they were in a really bad state. And what we did is, because they were using our services, all their data had been replicated up to our cloud and was regularly sending new incrementals and things like that. And because of it, we had the data, uncorrupted or unencrypted, and they were able to recover it was about 80 terabytes of data from our cloud and able to restore all of that back to their clients. So a pretty massive attack, but because they had used this offsite, data continuity solution, they were able to recover that back and get their clients back up and running. So it was a big event, but again, this is where having a plan and having a solution worked out really well.
The moral of the story too, right, is that MSPs are becoming more and more the target, right, of these ransomware attacks. And you as an MSP need to make sure that you have a business continuity, plan, right, a DR plan, and are able to make sure that your environment is protected. In this case, how great that they were utilizing cloud services and can do that.
Yeah, it was really great. I hate to think what would have happened had they not had that solution, had our solution. Here's another great one, a retail customer. This was a client in the Eastern US that they have point of sale machines, if you can think of a retail store type of place. And they were crypto locked, if I could say that right, with the Ryuk ransomware. And it also affected local backups. They were not able to restore from those. And so they're in a tight spot. Here they have a retail store that they cannot process point of sale type of things. They literally were stuck. They could not make money. They couldn't process anything. They were in a really bad place.
Literally catastrophic for them. Yeah.
Yeah, totally catastrophic. They were in a bad spot. The good news is they were using our cloud services. So they had copies of all of these machines in our cloud and were able to go back to a recovery point that was still good, that was not crypto locked, and able to restore that out of the StorageCraft Cloud. And we utilized, in this case, we actually put the data on drives and we expedited it. So put it on a plane, it showed up the same day. And within hours of getting those hard drives with the data, they were back up and running. So really helped them out where they were looking at potential days, even week plus, of being basically closed down. It was really key. They had a solution and were able to get recovered, made a big difference.
the partner looks like a hero, right? The partner is able to say, yeah, that confidence that you put in us, that money that you pay us monthly to make sure that we're protecting, your data and your infrastructure. And when you're compromised, we can get you up and running. Boom, it happened, right? So,
That's right. It really puts you in a great spot because you're able to provide that solution. In some cases, even go above and beyond and really help them out. They were heroes in this case.
Yeah. So, Bill, cloud services, our purpose-built cloud for our partners who are bringing disaster recovery, total disaster recovery to their customers. We think it's a great choice for what you're using for offsite backup, and we hope that you'll consider it. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out via our website under the partner tab. You can always fill out a partner application and find out more about cloud services, how you can bring it into your managed service offering or in your portfolio of offerings. Bill, I want to thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. This is good.
All right, we'll talk soon. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.